Good evening and welcome to the September 10th, 2020 Holliston School Committee meeting. It is 7:01. I am calling this meeting to order. Pursuant to the governor's order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, Mass General Law, Chapter 30A, Paragraph 20, as well as the Select Board's emergency order dated March 16th, 2020, the Holliston School Committee will be using remote participation for this meeting. The audio of this meeting is being recorded and will be posted to the HCAT webpage within 24 hours in accordance with the governor's emergency action requirement of keeping the public informed of actions during this meeting. I ask that all participants remotely attending, please state your name for identification purposes each time you speak throughout the meeting. At this time, I will take a roll call attendance. Mr. Morton.
Present.
Mrs. Listevnik.
Present.
Ms. Koshin.
Present.
Dr. Savard.
Present.
Ms. Hanstead.
Present.
Mrs. Raffi, present. At this time, I will take a motion to approve remote participation by the committee this evening.
Moved by Cynthia.
Second by.
Moved by Cynthia, seconded by Andy. Roll call vote. Mr. Morton.
Yes.
Mrs. Listevnik.
Yes.
Ms. Koshin.
Yes.
Dr. Savard.
Yes.
Ms. Hanstead.
Yes.
Mrs. Raffi, yes. At this time, I will accept a motion to move into executive session for the purposes of impact bargaining with the Holliston Federation of Teachers unit for, I said
secretaries and paras.
For the purposes of imagining, oh my God, impact bargaining for which we will return.
Moved by Lisa. Second by Cynthia.
Moved by Lisa, seconded by Cynthia. I'm sorry if I screwed that up. All in favor, Mr. Morton,
Yes.
Mrs. Listevnik,
Yes.
Ms. Koshin,
Yes.
Dr. Savard,
Yes.
Ms. Hanstead,
Yes.
Mrs. Raffi, yes. It is 7:03. To those in the public who are watching, we are going into executive session. We will be returning. My anticipation is it will be a good solid 45 minutes is what I'm giving us. So, so you can tune in around 7:45, 7:50. So with that, we will adjourn into executive session. Good evening and welcome to the Holliston School Committee September 10th, 2020 School Committee meeting. It is 8:21. I am reconvening this meeting. All members are present. This evening, does anyone on the committee have any oral communication they want to share? Cynthia?
Just quickly, September is Suicide Prevention Month, so I just wanted to remind folks of that.
Okay. Any other committee member? Okay, administrators, do you have anything to share now or do you want to wait until your agenda item?
We'll hold.
Yeah, we can wait.
Mr. Boudet, do we have our caller?
Not yet. Why don't we come back to it just because, HCAT has a little delay.
Okay.
So just to be on this, to be on the fair side. So why don't we, I'll ping you when that person arrives.
Okay. Okay, so we're going to jump right into our school reopening update. I am going to turn this over to Dr. Kuska.
Thank you, Stacy. So as you know, as we've said each time we've met and publicly trying to share more information with parents, every week we are getting closer to the start of school, September 16th, and we're very excited to welcome our students. But as you also have heard me say, we still have hurdles to overcome. Every time we thought we were almost past the hurdles, and we've had some wrinkles in our timeline, and we want to talk to you about that tonight. So one of the things we obviously were waiting to finalize, we're still doing some bargaining with our union related to the changes to scheduling and different things that our model has led to. And we're feeling very optimistic that we'll be able to finalize that very soon and should have an MOU ready to share with you to ratify, hopefully as soon as Monday night. So we're feeling optimistic about that. And also we were, as you know, we added safety positions, we added some building subs, lots of different needs to keep our physical distancing of students, making sure they're wearing masks, putting less kids into more space. So sometimes we're putting a classroom of 24 kids into 2 rooms, which requires a second adult to support those students to meet the needs of one classroom. So again, it's a lot more staffing needs because of that. We had a rigorous reopening plan that we are still moving towards. We are offering that 5-day in-person model for our K-3 students, and 4-12 is hybrid, as you know. However, some of the positions that we have been hiring for and interviewing for all summer, we had been able to find some candidates to fill various positions, and then we lost those candidates to potentially a higher paying district or something closer to home. Additionally, as we have gotten closer to the opening of school, we have had some late minute resignations for various reasons, and we've also had some last minute leaves of absence, and all of this is specific to COVID. I can't share all of the different reasons, but there are many reasons why people may take a leave. Childcare has been impactful. Some districts have also, like us, have struggled to fill positions, and while they may have been starting hybrid next week, have moved to a more staggered approach, some of them not opening until October and some even into November. We're not looking to do that. We're still trying to stay on a timeline with the 16th, but in order to safely staff all of the buildings and try to fill some of those positions that we thought we had filled and lost, and the most recent leaves of absence and so forth, we may need a little bit more time to get all of our K-12 in-person models in place. And we want to share some thoughts with you about potentially staggering, not a long stagger, but potentially start staggering some of the grade levels to get that in-person model into place. I can share my screen if you'd like to see a document that we prepared for you.
Susan, before you share that, so the public, the parent who wanted to share public comment has come into the waiting room. Would you be okay if we let her speak first, because your conversation?
I'm here.
I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
Okay.
K-12 in-person models in place, and we want to share some thoughts with you about
there is a lag.
staggering, not a long stagger, but potentially staggering some of the grade levels to get that in-person model into place.
Aislinn, can you?
Hello?
Aislinn, can you mute your whatever you're watching?
Before you share that, the woman,
Hold on.
parent who wanted to share public comment has
I'm trying to figure out how to mute
come
it.
into the waiting room. Would you be okay if we let her speak first because your
He's got out of Facebook.
conversation? I'm here. I'm sorry. Absolutely. Okay.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out how to mute it.
Just close Facebook.
Close Facebook.
There you go.
Okay.
Okay, just to please identify yourself and your address, please.
I'm sorry, I did not hear that.
Please identify yourself and your address.
My name is Aislinn Weaver, and I'm at 69 Woodland Street, Holliston.
Go ahead with your public comment.
I'm sorry?
Go ahead with your public comment.
Okay. I am calling in because, hold on, okay. On July 20th, I emailed Assistant Superintendent Peter Patello my son's education plan for the upcoming 20 to 21 school year. He replied on the 28th and made no mention of the ed plan, only asked if I sent a progress report. As I school my son year-round, and we were in the middle of winding up his last week of the 2019 to 2020 school year, I was unable to respond until August 13th. At that time, I let him know that I had not sent in a progress report, and I wasn't planning on to because that's not what he agreed to. And so he responded the next day stating, my plan is to approve Lawrence's plan. However, and then he went on to state that I needed to share evidence of progress. And then he also went on to try again to force me into an in-person meeting with him, of which both myself and my attorney have made very clear to him in years past, I am not legally required to do so. While I understand Holliston Public Schools is currently working to get their 20 to 21 school year started, Lawrence is currently into week 5 of his 20 to 21 school year without our approval letter. Holliston Public Schools home education policy, which was sent to me by Brad Jackson, clearly states at number 3 that the superintendent has the right to approve or reject the home education plan. This must be done within 14 days of receipt of the plan. Peter Patello is in violation of this policy. It has been 38 days, Monday through Friday, because I'm not counting weekends, since I emailed my plan. At this point, I'm submitting my ed plan to the school committee for approval. As it has been 38 days, I'm respectfully requesting approval by the end of next week, 9/18. Unfortunately, I did not realize that you guys were starting school right around the 18th, but my ed plan is complete. It is written with accordance to the child's decision, so I'm hoping for a quick approval. While I understand you may not be able to get me the written letter, just having the email stated that it's approved, and then having the letter, the physical letter, sent to my home after that is fine. I'm okay with that, but it's not really fair to be having myself and my son wait.
Okay, thank you for your comment, Ms. Weaver. Dr. Botello will be in touch with you.
Thank you.
Okay, Dr. Kuska, sorry for the change in agenda item.
No problem.
So can you just give a 30-second?
Oh, yes, where we were, sorry. So I'm getting ready to talk about, as you know, we've had some challenges with staffing that we've been trying to stay on top of, and we added a lot of new positions, one of them being health and safety. We've added building subs because we need to have some backup plans if we do have any positive cases or perceived cases. So there are so many needs related to our opening model, and we are competing with other districts surrounding us. So we've had many interviews that our administrators have done all summer long and thought they had hired 2-3 positions all set, and then over the weekend got responses from those people that they are now refusing the job after they accepted it because for various reasons, maybe they got a job closer to home, depending on the position. Salary could be part of that, but our salaries are fairly comparable, but again, there's always a scenario that someone could get more in another district for whatever reason and not even come back to us to see if we can support them. And we also know that with unemployment, some people are working at home and getting extra unemployment. So there's a lot of different competing factors here, and all of the districts surrounding us throughout the state are dealing with the same issues. You've probably heard on the news, some districts have been planning on opening their hybrid model, for example, next week like us, and then they have had to resort to some of the same concerns of staggering start dates, and some of them going into potentially even late October and November. We don't want to do that. We are going to propose some thoughts tonight that we think we can manage safely. Right now, we are planning on having all of our administrators will be all hands on deck in our buildings to reopen school with our potential staggered dates in mind. I will be helping with Dr. Botello and Mr. Bidet, our assistant principals, our SSAs, our special administrator. We're going to do all we can to support our students. You will probably be trying to find me in a kindergarten classroom. I may be doing lunch duty, but we take this very seriously. It doesn't matter what our backgrounds are. We are going to be there for our students. And we also, parents probably saw today that I reached out to see if there are any volunteers that are able to help us with this model in the best interest of the kids. So we are pleading. We are not trying to stop school from opening. We are moving forward with our plan. However, we do have some limitations in order to safely get all of our students back in our K-3 full in-person and hybrid model at 4 to 12. So I'm going to share my screen and show you some things that we want the community to know about. I just really want to reiterate, this has not been for lack of effort. We've just had
Susan,
unusual circumstances. Yes.
Susan, I'm so sorry. I don't mean to interrupt. Could you just share it with the committee, because it's hard to follow and watch and get our heads around it.
Peter, can you share it so I can talk while you do that?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay. So we know that our plans were to reopen full in person for grades 2 and 3. We're planning to open on Wednesday, September 16th, and we are still moving forward with that thought in mind. Thursday, September 17th would be in-person learning for the 2-3 again, and then also adding grade 1. We had a little bit of a stagger to begin with because we wanted to safely bring our students back. And then Friday, September 18th, in-person learning would be grade 2, 1, and then 3. And also kindergarten would begin the in-person learning, and preschool as well. Well, I'm sorry, preschool would be connecting remotely first, and then start on September 21st. And then we had planned on our hybrid 4 to 12 beginning between September 16th and September 18th. And our grade 9 was going to be starting next week, and our grades 10, 11, and 12 are starting on the 21st. Again, these are some ideas that we've had to try to, again, safely move our students back in and still get that in-person learning model into place. Option A would be still conservative from what our other districts are doing around us. Some have moved further out in not trying to postpone the start of school, but to get students back safely, they've had to start with a remote and move back into the in-person model. So in option A, we would propose of having one of our 3 schools, grades 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 12. One of those grade levels would start on September 21st, then adding the second school once we get additional staff into place on September 29th, and then bringing back and making sure that all of our 4 to 12 students were back in person in the hybrid blended model by October 5th. That's a change, obviously, that we're not happy about, and that's not the most rigorous timeline. It's a reasonable timeline to get our students back. We also can't promise you we'll have every single position filled, but we are, again, putting every hand in deck that we can. And if we can get some parent support to volunteer, even short term for potentially the first month of school, we also think that will allow us to fill these positions that we've lost along the way and potentially to other districts. Option B, in that model, it's a little more rigorous. That would be starting 2 of those 3 levels, grade 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 12 would start on September 21st with the in-person hybrid blend. And the final school would start on September 29th. Again, this is not about us thinking that we have a perfect solution here. Even with our reopening plan, we were very excited to be able to offer the 5 in-person K-3 and the 4 to 12 hybrid model, and more rigorously than some of our surrounding districts. However, we've always talked about those challenges, and now we're hitting challenges that we didn't foresee in this process. A third option would be the most rigorous option, given our staffing challenges right now, and that would be still trying to get all of our grades 4 to 12 back in their hybrid model as soon as September 21st. That is a very rigorous timeline, given that it's right around the corner, and we had filled some positions and lost some of those hires. I also had some late resignations. We have people that are dealing with finding out at the last minute themselves. Sometimes we've had parents that were thinking that their students were back to school and they were starting next week, and they've just been told by their district that they're going full remote to start, and some of them going for a much longer period. So that is hitting us again. So I've had some of our staff members ask for the FFCRA leave of absence for up to 12 weeks, and that becomes an additional position to fill. So in order to safely house our students in an academic mode, we believe that the best option to do that would be by doing a staggered start date for having one of those groups, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 12, start on September 21st, and then the following week bring back the second of the 3 schools on September 29th, the third on October 5th. That would be the most feasible given the challenges we are up against. However, I did send out a message to parents today to see if we have some volunteers in the community that will support us. If we can get that volunteerism to support some of the needs we're talking about. One of those needs is bus monitors. All of our buses, it's recommended by the Department of Education that we add bus monitors to our buses. And that's for our distance model, where we cannot have students in the same seats based on safety needs based on COVID. Also to make sure that students are staying in their seats and wearing masks, because this is a change for how we've done school in the past. So that is a recommendation. That is a position that we would be very happy to have volunteers in if they are able to commit to Monday through Friday. It could be for a month or 2 in order to give us some time to hopefully fill some of those positions. It doesn't mean you have to commit for the full year, but if you have some volunteerism within you that you are feeling like you have the ability to do so and you want to support our students, whether you're a parent or someone else in the community, we would have to get them quarried and fingerprinted and move very quickly with that process, but we would love to have that support and that volunteerism streak. Or if we know some college students who are planning on not going back to college this year, I've heard of students taking the year off because they don't want to do it remotely. We would love to hire some of them to be substitutes. If they're upcoming teachers, that would actually help them in their future endeavors. So that would be a plus for them as well. And if we had some of that volunteerism take place very quickly and also be able to fill some of these positions over the next couple of days, I still think it's rigorous, but we would propose option B would be a safe model that we could feasibly get our students back 2 of the 3 schools on September 21st, and then the 3rd school on the 29th. In all of these changes, we're not really looking to change our K-3 in-person model, because we also know that there are lots of parents that are committed to jobs, and we're told that their students are coming back K-5. So obviously there is no perfect scenario here. I will tell you, as an educator of 26 years, I've taught grade 1, grades 3 and 4. I've taught grades 6, 7, and 8. I was a special educator in middle school, and I can't tell you that there's one perfect solution here. All of these decisions make me very anxious and worry. I worry about all of our students, and I wish I could say that there's a perfect solution. There is not. There could be an argument to say why we would start 3rd grade before 5th grade. Why would we start 1st grade? Those early literacy and numeracy skills that we develop in grades 1 to 3, if they're not cemented by grade 3, are very challenging to try to mediate and remediate after grade 3. So that is something that we really talked about early on in this process, about why we were doing in-person as much as possible for K to 3. However, we also know our high school students that might be going off to college next year. They need the best leg up as well. So again, I'm not telling you that there's a perfect solution here. We're trying to come up with the best solution we can to try to meet the needs of most of our students and still get them back in a reasonable timeline so that they wouldn't have to be remoting in more than necessary to try to get them into an in-person model.
So Susan, if I'm a parent and I'm listening to you right now, what does this mean for me and what does this mean for my kids? And what are the next steps?
So the administrative team is going to be meeting tomorrow, and we would be communicating out exactly where, again, we still have some positions that are coming in, and I've had some late notices from some of our administrators that we may have filled a couple more of these positions. So that will sort of help us tease out whether it'd be better to start our grade 4-5 first, our grade 6-8 first, or 9-12. It's really to take the most amount of students safely and also making sure that we have the right content expertise in front of them. So that is part of that decision making. As of tomorrow, I do want to communicate to parents so they will be prepared. Obviously, this is not something we wanted to have for a conversation today, and it's already late notice, but we really did not foresee that we would have these last minute changes that is a ripple effect in this process and a domino effect. So conservatively, again, I still think it's rigorous, but option B would be the option that I would propose that we would move forward with tonight. And then tomorrow we will be able to communicate to parents how that might impact their students as far as the start date and give that specific information to them tomorrow.
I think we want to make sure we emphasize just really quickly that they will still start virtually on September 16th.
Yes, thank you.
The first day of school is still going to be September 16th.
Yes, school starts on September 16th. It just might look a little different than we originally proposed.
Such a confusing time. I think we just have to make sure we're super crystal clear about it.
It truly, truly is. And, you know, we are all losing sleep over this because we really are committed to trying to do what's best for the community and for our students. And, you know, there's a lot to deal with and lots of things that just keep changing day to day.
Dawn?
To be clear, it's not just about bus monitors, correct? It's about teachers, it's about paras, it's about positions that we need filled that have been posted, correct? It's not just bus monitors.
Yes, all of the positions are on School Spring, and I made sure to send that link out to our families today, seeing if there's any community availability to help substitute for daily subs, for building subs, paraprofessionals. The support staff is the most significant, but we do have some teaching positions to fill as well.
And many of these job postings have just occurred in the last week because that's when we had notice. Is that correct?
Yes, I've still had some changes, and I have a couple of more changes that may be happening. People, as I mentioned, parents of children that may not be able to come back to work because they don't have childcare for the children are opting out of taking that leave with the federal government.
Okay, and I just had one more. Just want to make sure the community heard it and it didn't go by too quickly. You said our administrative team is stepping up to fill some of these positions. Is that correct?
We are going to be all hands on deck. I asked that we could all, I mean, this is something I've been saying to staff all along. We must stand united. This is not something we've ever dealt with before. When we propose these plans, we do this with the best of intentions. We want what's best for kids. But until we live this new model of education, the best laid plans don't always go the way we thought, as you're hearing about now. That means we're still going forward. We're not giving up. And I will be likely at Placentino next week working with students. If it means your interim superintendent might be doing lunch duty. And if parents are aware that I may not be able to communicate back, I'm getting hundreds of emails, parent requests, all kinds of information. We may not be able to communicate as efficiently because we are really going to be there for your students in very much front and center.
So these options are driven by parents too. We need parent volunteers, and we're going to have 12 to 15 administrators filling some of these positions. Is that correct?
Yes, I envision how our administrators are going to be working. They're really going to be working on health and safety and supporting if there are students that need a support person in class, we might be in class as a support person, not necessarily the content person. Not that I couldn't teach, I've taught many subjects, but my goal would be to help support the teachers, and because our gaps are more in health and safety monitors and building subs and paraprofessionals.
So you all have your hands up. I know that. So put your hands down. You're all going to get a chance to ask a question. I see you all. Anne Louise?
I guess first of all, I wanted to thank Dr. Kuska, the administration, and the teachers, because the number of hours that have gone into planning this at such an exceptional level of detail is pretty unbelievable. So what I'm hearing from Dr. Kuska right now is, conservatism. She's trying to make sure they've got all the T's crossed and the I's dotted. And that is why we need this staff. But I think it's essential for everybody to know that we are turning over every rock and looking everywhere we can to make sure that we are pulling people in. There is some urgency to this, obviously, given the timing. But when she says she's optimistic, it's because I think we have, put so much time into planning the details on this. So I just really wanted to share that up front. I think there are going to be a lot of questions, and we probably have to codify some of this in a little bit more detail for parents. I guess that was it. I just wanted to be clear, because I know they're going to all be all hands on deck, and any parent, any community member who thinks they can step in and do this and help out is hopefully for a few weeks, a month, until we're able to fill some of these positions on a more permanent basis would be appreciated.
Sin.
I just wanted to say, I'm wondering whether or not, I'm sure, we want to make sure other people are also aware of the childcare that we have available for people that we haven't really talked a lot about. Extended Day has done a great deal of work to come up with a remote day program that is, it's at My Learning Connections. My Learning Space. Thank you. My Learning Space. My Village also still has some available spaces, and in addition, the Metro West YMCA was opening in Christ the King Church as well to have remote day care for folks. So I don't know if I've heard people saying that they're looking for childcare but not sure where to find it. There is childcare, so that's where you can find some. I just wanted to let other folks know, and for our teachers as well. So.
Can I just say something about when you're talking about the parent volunteerism? The reason we're saying we really need a commitment that it doesn't have to be all year, but if you could commit for a month or 2 months to do this, whether it's as a bus monitor or as a potential as a working in the health and safety, helping students keep safe in the hallways and so forth, because we're also trying to minimize additional contacts in school. So we can't have someone coming in 1 day a week. It's not that we wouldn't welcome and appreciate that, but then it's too many contacts in the building, and then kind of diminishes our cohorts that we're trying to keep safe in the model.
Lisa?
Yeah, I just wanted to also chime in on the administration. I think that there's going to be a lot of Monday morning quarterbacking going on Facebook in particular. And I just want to say, as a witness to what has been going on the last few months, school committee members have gotten to see how the sausage is made in a more intimate way than we normally do. We have had way more meetings. We have been really kept in the loop in a way that we wouldn't normally be because it's a pandemic. And this is all unprecedented. And I just want to say that this is not, this should be, I hope that people will realize that everyone on the administration has bent over backwards and worked so hard to try to do a pretty aggressive model because they thought that is what's best for kids. This administration truly believes that they want to get as many kids back in person as much time as they possibly can. A lot of other districts are doing virtual. A lot of other districts did hybrid for their younger kids. This administration really felt strongly that the best thing for Holliston kids was what we put forward in our hybrid plan. And so I know people are going to be frustrated that the first day of in-person learning may change for their child, but please recognize that just as a witness to all the work that has happened in the last few months, I just want to say that I think that every administrator, every principal, everybody working on this has done their absolute level best to make this happen. And I hope that parents will spend time. I know we're going to see stuff on Facebook, and that's fine, but if everyone would take half the time they spend on Facebook and instead reach out to parents or recent college grads and see if there's anyone out there looking to be a health and safety monitor or be a bus monitor or come in and be in one of these buildings and help us out, that could be the difference between your child's school opening sooner rather than later. So, I think Dr. Kuska had mentioned that, she's been trying to say to the staff, to everyone she works with, that we're all in this together. We are all in this together. We are only going to get these schools open if, we really think outside. I hate that phrase, think outside the box. Absolutely hate that phrase. But we have to get creative. We have to be willing to ask parents to volunteer in the buildings. We have to be willing to ask parents to think about people they may know that could help volunteer in the buildings. This is weird. This is unusual. This is not normal. But it is, what you're seeing is an administration that is doing absolutely everything they can to do the right thing for our kids. So I hope people will
and the teachers are too. I think this is the teachers, the custodians, the secretaries, the paras. This is, remember, before you get on Facebook, thank an educator. This is exactly what the hospitals were going through, to pull off a Herculean task to take care of every student and every family in this community. We are leaning on so many people who have skills and effort and things that, we need to lean on them. And so take pause, put a yellow ribbon around your tree and a sign out front, and thank an educator on September 16th, because this is a big deal.
Yeah, and I didn't mean to leave it. I truly didn't mean to leave out the teachers and the paras and the rest of the staff. I just wanted to do, I was singling out the administration because we have seen, more than any other part of the puzzle, we have seen them in action up close and personal these last few months. I know that, I have so much respect for the teachers. Just, it's the idea of walking back into a classroom is going to be scary. And I salute all the teachers and educators, but I just wanted to give a special shout out to the administrators.
Dawn?
I just want to be clear too, Dr. Kuska, Dr. Patello, Mr. Boudet, these jobs are posted. You are actively interviewing. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes.
They're on School Spring. I sent the link out to families today. I actually went to school committee, went to staff. I'm hoping maybe some of our teachers know some people that they could reach out to as well. Again, just we're trying to do what's best for kids.
And there are offers extended, and we are looking for volunteers. And based on that, you've come up with option A, option B, and option C with different dates to move different groups of students from remote back into hybrid. Is that correct?
Yes, and we will make a determination on that tomorrow and send that information out to parents. Obviously, they need to know. I just wanted to be able to discuss this and discuss our, we're frustrated with this process. We're losing sleep over it as well. We want what's best for the kids, and we want what's best for the community. So we'll get that information out.
Which
tomorrow.
Option we go with is somewhat driven by the support we get from the community as well. Is that correct?
Yes, if we find out that we have some parent volunteers that can jump in, obviously I do have to make sure that they get queried and fingerprinted, so that has a little bit of time sensitivity to it. But the sooner we get that communication, the sooner we can welcome them to support us for even a short term.
So we really need to know by Monday, like anyone who's interested to really hopefully communicate with us by Monday.
Like tomorrow.
Right, I know tomorrow, but I mean, I don't want to say it's tomorrow and then no one, whatever.
Yeah, and
I was looking for a drop dead date. Yeah.
I know that I haven't been able to look at all my emails, but I did see a few parents have already reached out, so I'm going to hopefully be able to have some good news.
Catherine, did you have your hand raised? I don't. Okay, Andy.
Thank you. I don't actually have any questions, but I think it certainly is worth reiterating. I know, having experience in other districts through myself and other members of my family, that our challenges are very much not unique ones, and that we've other places seen candidates seem to be ready to go and then at the last minute disappear. So yeah, I think that having as many kind of feelers out there looking for what we can do, and then understanding that all of this can change in an instant. The community I work in had one issue with a large gathering, and suddenly our whole plan switched around. So certainly, hopefully, people are still being safe and recognizing that we are absolutely doing the best with our teachers, reinventing what the classroom looks like, with our administrators really looking at what the school looks like and reinventing that as we're going. So I think that while this may come as a disappointment to some people, I think that we're doing absolutely the very best that we can for our students, and we want to get them back as quickly and as safely as possible. So thank you for all the work for the teachers, for the administrators, for everyone who's been a part of this process.
Thanks, Andy. And I too echo the sentiments of my fellow colleagues for sure. With that, so just to clearly reiterate, please read Dr. Kuska's email. Please share the link for the volunteer and job openings. I shouldn't say volunteer options. They're all paid positions, correct? So, right, Dr. Kuska?
So yes, I sent them the link to School Spring, and then I also sent a Google form that they could indicate they might want to volunteer, and maybe they'd like it and then want to apply for the job if they volunteer.
Okay, so families, please share that. I will share that with the Holliston Reporter. They will push that out for us. We have different contacts throughout the college and university world, so this is all hands on deck. Please, families, read that email, think about it, and if you have the opportunity to help out with this, we would appreciate that. Dr. Kuska and the administrative team will email and reach out to parents over this weekend to share more information forthcoming. So your patience is greatly appreciated. Did you have any leaves of absences for us to approve tonight?
I have one unpaid leave that was requested by an employee based on the contract, and it's similar to one that I shared with you before. And forgive me, I don't have the actual contract language. You probably have it on the agenda.
So really what I'm looking, I'm looking for a motion to accept or approve this unpaid leave of absence. It's for 1 year, correct, Dr. Kuska?
Yes, it's a 1 year unpaid leave of absence, and it's covered in the contract language, but the committee does have to formally approve that.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve that?
So moved by Ann Louise.
Seconded by Cynthia. I'm sorry, Andy, go ahead.
Moved by Ann Louise, seconded by Andy. Roll call vote. Mrs. Listevnik?
Yes.
Dr. Kuska? I'm sorry, Dr. Savard. I'm sorry, you two are next to each other.
Yes.
Oh, Ms. Hanstad?
Yes.
Ms. Naborski?
Yes.
Mr. Morton?
Yes.
Mrs. Raffi? Yes. Great. Thank you for that. And finally, Lisa shared out with the group a newsletter. I don't know if everyone had an opportunity to share their feedback or comments. Does anyone have any questions, comments? Come on, this is a newsletter. Nobody has anything?
I put comments in there, but I didn't know if Lisa did anything.
I'm going to confess, I haven't looked at this yet. I haven't had a chance, so I don't want to be the reason we're holding it up. I know
I
Lisa
commented
sent it
profusely.
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 I've reviewed it and added what I thought needed to be added.
Okay. Lisa, do you have it open in front of you? Because to be quite honest, I don't have it showing up. So did you have any questions or anything?
Yeah, hold on one sec. I'm going to see if there's anything that needs to be.
Lisa, while you look, there's something in there that says we wanted to implant a quick link to when school starts by grade. And now we have a bit of a
Can't do that.
a problem. So
delete that because we can't do
we
that.
need to delete that until we have a better answer.
I would rather not go into the mask thing unless we want to try to wordsmith it right now, because I do think that parents have seen the guidance from the nurses.
Mm-hmm. It wasn't really about guidance. It was more, I mean, it wasn't about like what kind of masks per se. It was more that parents should be having their kids practice wearing masks. I have some friends that have had their kids already go back to school, and the kids are, they don't know how they're supposed to wear them. I mean, it's part of the learning process totally, but it would be a good idea to make sure you have one that's fitted and comfortable for your kid before they start school. So that was really my only comment, really. Doesn't really need to be in a newsletter, but I'm just saying it now.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I just think that most, I think people have gone out to public places and their kids have had to wear masks, I mean.
Yeah, but not for 4 hours, I guess, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's just, but see, okay, so I thought that this was going to be a disaster for my kid, and then he had summer school and he wore the mask and it was not even an issue. Like I was
had practice all summer wearing it.
For that, and never. I think that the kids just they see everyone else doing it, and somehow,
the evidence from other districts across the country that have opened where masks are required is that the kids are adapting. It's not going to be perfect, but they are adapting to it, and I think it is exactly what you said, Lisa. It's like they see each other doing it. It's an expectation. They are just falling in line.
Are you just talking about adding a top of mind link?
Me?
I don't think we need.
No,
yeah, I don't understand what you're talking about the masks. What are you talking about?
I was just saying that parents might want to practice having their kids wear their masks. Make sure they have a mask that is comfortable for their kid. That's all.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't disagree with you. I just don't want to work with it right now.
You don't have to. It's fine.
I think we should just
strike it. It was just a thought.
So were there any, Dawn, did you?
I did have a top of mind article, but we don't have to present that this time. We can do it in the next newsletter.
Dawn, did you make changes? I don't see changes that you made.
I did, yes.
Did you not put them in as suggestions?
No, I guess I didn't. I thought it would show up on edits.
I love the quick links, Lisa.
Yeah, those are great.
So much better.
Dawn, did you make any substantive changes? Can you just point them out to us? Because I don't see them.
Let me take a look. You know what? I'll go through on the comments right now.
You said please embed the cohort calendar.
Cohort calendar, and I think in the first paragraph there was nothing, just some edits. But
maybe you just made the edit and we just didn't see it. Or we just can't see it because it's just directly edited and not a suggestion.
in the interest of time, just waive it. It's not.
Okay. So
do we have a cohort calendar that we can stick in there or not?
Well, we shouldn't because it's changing.
Yeah, based on what we talked about.
Yeah, I don't think we can do that right now. And I think that should probably come from the administration.
Okay, take it out.
Okay.
Maybe we should take out the school year calendar too. Now that we think about it.
No.
No? Okay.
The kids are still starting on September 16th.
Right.
Some additional.
Well, not the kindergarten. Well, Placentino. They don't even have. I don't think they have Chromebooks. So.
Right. The youngest ones are starting still on the 16th, and some would be remote because they've opted for remote.
Right.
We do have to get the Chromebooks into their hands, and that's part of the opening process.
Okay.
So
never mind.
In the second paragraph, I'm gonna change it to, because of their persistence, meaning the administrators, we are looking forward to opening the doors to the first wave of students on September 16th, as opposed to we're looking forward to opening the doors.
That's
right. Oh, okay.
All right. Well, as long as you guys don't mind me tweaking anything that I see that is now wrong on our conversation.
Do you want to say first cohort instead of first wave of students or no?
Don't use that word.
Okay, never mind.
Definition. Yeah.
Yeah. It also doesn't apply quite the same. I think wave is
Never mind.
better.
Group. Wave is fine. Never mind.
Wave is fine.
Wave is good. It's all good.
Lucy did a nice
The
job.
whole
on
thing
this.
is great. Thank you.
Okay, so does anyone have any substantive changes beyond what we've discussed?
No.
No, ma'am.
Is there a
So-
motion to approve the newsletter as amended this evening?
Moved by Cynthia.
Second by Dawn.
Moved by Cynthia, seconded by Catherine. Roll call vote. Mrs. Listevnik,
Yes.
Dr. Savard,
Yes.
Ms. Hanstead,
Yes.
Ms. Naborski,
Yes.
Ms. Koshin,
Yes.
Mr. Morton,
Yes.
Mrs. Raffi. Yes, thank you. Okay. There were 2 warrants that I signed this week. The first is a school bill warrant in the amount of $242,903.81, of which $25,174.33 falls under the CARES money for COVID. There was another school bill warrant in the amount of $172,135.72, of which $29,986.93 also falls under the COVID/CARES funding. Okay. With that being said, we have gone through our agenda.
No,
And it-
Stace, what about the resolution? There was a resolution.
Oh, sorry. Yep, I didn't get the latest copy. Yes. Dawn, why don't you share it with the committee verbally?
Okay. It's a resolution of Holliston Public School Committee regarding funding and procurement of COVID testing and increased real-time data of COVID positive cases per town. So it's addressed to the Governor, Board of Elementary and Secondary Education Chair James Pizer, and Commissioner of Elementary and Secondary Ed Jeff Riley. Whereas children have a right to free public education, which is fundamental to academic, social, and emotional development. And whereas public education also plays an important role in students' mental health, safety, nutrition, and care of children and adolescents, and school committees, school administrations, parents, and students across the Commonwealth are eager for a safe return to school this fall. And whereas Holliston Public Schools remains committed to delivering high-quality instruction while ensuring the health and safety of our students and staff. And whereas COVID-19 is a highly transmissible virus that can be spread by asymptomatic carriers, school districts are developing plans to reopen for the 2021 school year with risk mitigation strategies within school buildings to reduce exposure to COVID-19. These include social distancing, mask wearing, and improved HVAC systems and sanitation protocols. And whereas reducing transmission of COVID-19 requires a concerted and focused public health response, which includes COVID-19 testing of teachers, students, and administrators, contact tracing, and proper isolation of cases and quarantining of those who have been exposed to a COVID-19 case. And without these measures in place, we will not be able to stop broader community transmission. And whereas recent modeling exercises show that low sensitivity tests, when done at high frequencies, can rapidly identify infected individuals, key to isolating the virus, stopping an outbreak, and maintaining open schools. These cost-effective, high-frequency, low sensitivity tests are available. Therefore, be it resolved that we request that the Commonwealth immediately, 1, allocate funding for regular proactive testing for teachers, staff, and students in our schools. 2, support school districts to identify and procure appropriate testing strategies and supplies, which may include low-cost, low-sensitivity tests to be used at high frequencies. 3, mandate that the Mass Department of Public Health and local public health departments provide real-time data for decision-making, including daily updates on the number and rates of new COVID-19 cases, percent positive tests for SARS-CoV-2, exposed contacts in their district, and age range data by district or town, meaning 0 to 5, 5 to 10, 11 to 12. So this is modeled off of a resolution that several towns have passed. I believe there are 2 school committee members on the Lincoln Sudbury School Committee who are also in medical professionals and had put this together and voted on it maybe within the last 2 weeks to 10 days. I think that the testing, the high frequency testing, low sensitivity testing will become increasingly available. And it's really just a petition to the state for additional funding for that to hopefully make that a reality for our schools within the next few weeks or months. And then the last part really just goes over trying to get increased information mandated from the Mass Department of Health for each town and district. Maybe age ranges. Again, it may not be as significant to the schools if we have a number of cases of older individuals who are in nursing homes, but it would be significantly important to know if we have a number of cases in the 5 to 10 or 11 to 20 year age range. It's also important that we're getting real-time updates. It's not helpful to know that there were cases a week or 10 days ago. We need to know as they're occurring.
Dawn, thank you for doing that. I really appreciate it. I think it was really well done. I don't have any questions or changes myself. Anybody on the committee?
There's a couple of, I don't know necessarily typos, I guess, but I didn't know if in the first whereas whether children is supposed to be capitalized, and the second whereas whether public education is supposed to be capitalized. And then on the back, it says attest Stacy Raffi Holliston Public School Chair. I'm thinking it should say School Committee Chair.
Okay.
I don't think there's anything else. I feel like there was an extra A somewhere. I can't remember.
I can make those changes.
But other than that, I think it's great. Thank you.
Catherine?
Dawn, if this goes through, is this level of testing happening in Holliston? Is this level of testing happening at a testing center like they had at Keith Tech? How does that work? What are we asking for?
So I think, Catherine, that this is the first step, trying to get funding for it. I think there are school districts like Wellesley that are looking for, I think, some kind of private donation funding to help implement this. But what we need for our public schools in the Commonwealth is funding from the state to do this. Now, there has been talk about mobile testing, being able to bring in trucks and mobile testing to high transmission areas. So I don't have all the answers on that, but I do know that the first step is getting funding for our public schools for this type of testing to occur. And it appears that it will be more widely available by October. So we want to make sure the funding's in place and that the governor and DESE and the commissioner gets a message from us that this is something our school district wants. And it's really just sharing in what other school districts are asking for as well.
I'll be sending this to Senator Spilka and Rep. Dykema. I also will be sending it to Chairman John Cronin of the Select Board to ask for their support in this as well. So I just wanted to add that.
I think we should send it to the MASC.
Yeah. Yep. I agree.
And get it to other school committees.
MASS too.
MASC is how I first found out about this. Like just reading their newsletter, I heard about Lincoln Sudbury had something in the works like this. So I reached out to their school committee members, asked them to share. So I think that's how it has spread already.
Great. Lisa?
Okay, it's well done.
Yeah, I just wanted to say a quick thank you so much for following up on this. I saw this, meant to follow up on it. It didn't follow up on it, fell through the cracks for me, and I'm so glad that you remembered to do it and stuck with it. Thank you.
All right. Is there a motion to approve? Well, first of all, did anyone else have any questions? My apologies. No? Good. Is there a motion to approve the resolution as presented by Ms. Naborski?
Moved by Lisa.
Seconded by Cynthia.
Moved by Lisa, seconded by Cynthia. All in favor, roll call vote. Mrs. Listevnik?
Yes.
Dr. Savard?
Yes.
Ms. Hanstead? Oh, she looks frozen. Ms. Naborski?
Yes, and thank you guys.
Mr. Morton?
Yes.
Ms. Koshin?
Yes.
Ms. Hanstead?
Yes, sorry.
Okay.
I had
No,
a
that's okay.
question.
Oh,
and
go ahead.
I lost the connection. It's just a quick question or clarification. Are we asking for, what do we mean by regular proactive? Is that, we're not asking for census testing. We're asking for the more, Catherine, you probably know this, I'm just spacing right now.
Low
it's
sensitivity?
the random testing of the population, which is sufficient for identifying, kind of frequency, et cetera. It's not like testing everybody all the time, which is probably not practical or feasible.
On the idea of what they're doing at the universities, like if you've read about.
Thank you. Yes,
schooling,
that's what
yeah.
I'm. Yeah,
Exactly.
I think that's really what we should be asking for. But if we don't need to be that specific, that's fine. But that is considered the more effective approach to doing testing.
Yeah. I think they're saliva tests, so I don't think they require things like negative pressure rooms and things like that. So that's what I think a lot of those sensitivity
vary,
tests are.
yeah, but yeah.
So Anne Louise, is that what's your vote?
I don't know. Well, my vote is yay. I lost the connection there as you were moving to vote. So if you're asking me, am I voting in favor of the resolution? I am, but I didn't know if we were asking for where it said regular proactive testing, the whole thing, or if we needed to qualify that or not.
Okay.
So I guess my vote is in favor.
Okay. Yeah.
That was a small thing. Yeah.
Okay. And Mrs. Raffi, yes. Thank you all. Thank you, Dawn. Tomorrow there is a policy meeting at 1:00. Our next meeting is posted for Monday, September, what day is it? 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th at 6:30. Yes, September 14th at 6:30. Did anyone have any other questions before we adjourn?
What's on the agenda just for the public for Monday?
Monday, we hope to have a vote to ratify the MOU with the Holliston Federation of Teachers, Paras, and Secretaries. Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Can I just,
Moved by-
can I say, sorry?
Yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to publicly thank the school committee because I know, these are challenging times, and I also want to thank the families. This is not something we wanted to have to share and talk about tonight, that we're not able to do everything we were hoping to do for our students, but we're moving ahead. We're still moving in a positive direction. And I said it earlier on in this summer to all of you, it takes a village to raise our children, our students. And if this is ever a need for the village to rise up, today is the day. So thank you all.
Well said.
And I'm going to end with your famous quote, Dr. Kuska, that you are now being quoted, that it's about giving grace, not grief. So with that, everybody have a nice weekend. I need a motion to adjourn, please.
Moved by Cynthia.
Seconded by Anne Louise.
Moved by Cynthia, seconded by Anne Louise. Roll call vote. Mrs. Listevnik?
Yes.
Dr. Savard?
Yes.
Ms. Naborski?
Yes.
Ms. Hanstead?
Yes.
Mr. Morton?
Yes.
Ms. Koshin?
Yes.
Mrs. Raffi? Yes, it is 9:18. Thank you all and good night.